Hello, everybody. I'm here to offer you a wonderful opportunity that people have been asking me about wherever I go. People are asking me, how can we see the same move of God in our country as is happening in the Ukraine? Will you come and do a conference? Will you come and preach in our church? And the invitations are just too many. So that's why I've decided to start a Bible school in every country. So right now we have started one in America, we've started one in France, we've started one in Holland, we've started one in Germany. Now it's time for England. So we're starting a History Maker Bible School in the city of London from September 25th. So I'm inviting everybody that wants to be a part of this great move of God that God is pouring all over Europe, that you should come and be a part of this Bible school. It's just a weekend Bible school, 1 weekend a month. So you don't need to leave your job, you don't need to leave your family, you don't need to leave your church, just one Saturday in a month. You can do that. Please get in touch with us by contacting the telephone and the email on the screen after this program. God bless you and welcome to History Makers Bible School.
300 Christians needed to change the spiritual temperature of this nation forever. Are you one of them? The Bible says creation is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. For this end time, you don't have to be a pastor or someone in a leadership position in a church to be part of this great move of God. All you need is a genuine hunger for the kingdom of God to be established on earth. Pastor Sunday Adelaja, the pastor of the largest church in Europe, the Embassy of God, is initiating a move of God in this nation called the History Makers Bible School. The History Makers Bible School takes place only on one Saturday every month to equip you for the next level. It will also be a good opportunity to network with like-minded Christians. You will receive tried and tested keys to church growth and pastoring without tears at the Emmanuel Center, 9 to 23 Marsham Street, Victoria, London, Southwest 1P 3DW. Registration is £40 per session. To register, call 0798 114 6157 or email admin@hmbsuk.org or visit the website at www.hmbsuk.org. Whatever you do, don't miss this move of God. Call the number on the screen now to register. Remember, you were called for a time like this. Yes, welcome once again to this wonderful program on behalf of the God's Embassy, or I say Embassy of God in Kiev, Ukraine. And you know, if you've been watching the few programs we've already released, you will see during the interview that Pastor Sunday was able to tell you about his background, how, where he came from a little village called Idomina. I have heard of the name in a book, but I haven't, actually seen the village. Even on the map of Nigeria,
it's not there.
You hardly see the village. But we thank God from that humble background. He went through a lot of ups and downs, and finally, somehow, God opened the door for him to come to Russia. In reality, he had two options. There are three options, either to go to the UK or go to America or Russia. But thank God for the counsel of a man of God from the Deeper Christian Life Ministries who told him that if you go to the West, the temptations are so heavy. But he would prefer you choose Russia. And he chose Russia because God orders the footsteps of the righteous ones. Mm. So I want to just, encourage you to stand by because we're now going to go into his experiences when he finally arrived in Russia. What happened? Did he get involved in a church? Or did he go underground? Or did he, got backsliding like some people would have done? So you know what? Just sit back and enjoy. God bless you as you continue to watch. Welcome to the program again, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pastor Yemi. Thank you for this time that you have given out to be able to talk to me.
Now, you've finally got a scholarship. You headed straight for Russia. And arriving in Russia, we know that Russia has its own Orthodox Church. And when we say Orthodox Church in Russia, it's much more like the Church of England in England. But then the Church of England, even though it works with the politicians to make things go okay in the nation, but they don't monopolize spiritual power like what happens here. Yeah. So what can you tell us about the Orthodox Church, sir?
Well, the Orthodox Church, when I came here first, the Orthodox Church was inactive. The communist people put out all kind of church or religion because they didn't believe there was God. So there were Orthodox churches, but they were being used as museum of art. So all those drawings and the icons and of Jesus and the disciples, they were bringing people to the church as tourists. So the tourists would come and see church, what church used to look like. And it was their prophecy that at the end of the century, last century, at the end of, before the year 2000, that there will be no believers left in their country and in the world because, religion was old-fashioned. And that science is going to disprove religion. That is crazy to believe in God in the 21st century. So they would take people to churches as a tourist. But in the evenings, the old people who are dying, the old people who are still believers before the communists came, they would come to church and pray. But while they are praying, tourists, can you imagine, will be taking photographs and going up and down. They say, we allow old people to believe like that because they will soon die. And they are afraid that maybe there is something there. So they were ridiculing the church, mocking Christ. But today, communism is no more. And Christ and his church is advancing with great power. So the persecution that the Protestant churches that you read about, Tortured for Christ and everybody, that they went through, the same Orthodox people went through the same persecutions. They were destroying their temples, their church buildings. They were imprisoning their priests, even though some of those priests were not even born again. But for daring to be a believer, you are confronting it's the Communist Party and the system. So when I came, that kind of situation totally shocked me. I came from a very deeply religious country, Nigeria. So to see that on a Sunday, what people were doing was to go out to the street and play with their dogs, go strolling with their dogs, and go out and go walking and strolling in the park. That because it was a holiday, a weekend, but nothing reminds you of religion or of God whatsoever. That was such a big shock. I don't know if you can imagine. In England, we could say, okay, people are backsliding and the churches are not active. But imagine a situation when nobody goes to church. And, I don't know you can imagine what this is. It's a whole country where no churches are. And a few that are, like in a city as large as Moscow, maybe they will have just a few churches. But they are like museums, buildings. So people are just going there to see the artworks. So, it's unbelievable to come to a country and nobody is going to church on a Sunday. So when I saw that kind of situation, I quickly gathered together students who came with me from Nigeria. We were lodged in the hotel in Moscow. So some of them were Muslims, some of them were not Christians, some of them were nominal Christians. But I quickly came to them and I said, hey, I'm a believer and this is Sunday. Let's get together. So we got together with some believers and I started right there. I was only 6 months in the Lord, 6 months as a believer. But we started praying with foreigners. So that was how my underground Christian life began in Russia.
Wow. It's kind of strange what you said before, that the communists believe that after the end of the last century, there will be no more believers in Russia. But now communism is gone and Christ is still there. The same thing is happening in England, in Western Europe now, where the politicians believe that, well, if we manage to, sideline these people, ridicule their religion, make them look useless, it will die away. Yes. And then we have the whole people to ourselves.
The Western people, the humanists are just repeating the same communist patterns. But the communists failed and God is alive. The same thing will happen in Western Europe. They will be gone and who will still be here?
Wow. Then you arrived here, you started that little prayer fellowship and things. So what happened after that? Well, we know that the Berlin Wall came down, but prior
Well,
to that,
before then, I had a lot of challenges because, for example, in Russia, when you study in the university, you needed to have a Russian partner or a roommate stay with you in your room. So we have 3 or 4 people in the room, and one has to be a Russian. So they were telling us that it's just for us to master the language, that we need to practice the language, and to, practice it, you need a Russian-speaking person living with you. But we didn't know. I later on found out on my own that they were actually there to write reports, protocols to the KGB about what each and every student were doing. Wow. So in my own case, even though I was not praying and doing religious observations publicly, but I had the picture of Jesus on my wall, and the guy had written a report to the Communist Party that this guy is religious, and he's put the picture of Jesus in his room. So one day, even though I would go and pray in the toilet under the blanket to hide it, but they came, and they were banging on my door one day. Bah, 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 bah. I was sleeping in the afternoon, and I was saying, hey, what's happening? It's like they were going to knock down the door. So when I opened the door, it was the head of the Youth Communist Party, and my school teacher, my class teacher. It was a language school, and then the dean, all of them, all the authority and the leadership of the university. Just because of me, because of one picture on my wall, they all came, and they started saying, "What is that?" I said, "What this? This is not a what. This is a who. This is Jesus. Everybody knows him all over the world. You don't know who this is? This is Jesus, the Son of God. This is Christian God." Well, they said, "What is that?" I said, "It's not what is Jesus." They said, "Well, we are not religious, and you have come to a country where religion is not tolerated." The Article 35, and they started quoting it for me, that the consequences, you could be sent to Siberia or sent back to Nigeria or in prison. But because this, by just hanging that picture there, that is regarded as religious propaganda. And that even though, I was not talking about religion, but just by it hanging there, that people who are their citizens, who come to the room, they see it. And it means I'm attempting to convert them, so I could be liable to lawsuit. So as they were telling me all that, I felt so much pain for my Lord. I felt so helpless, and I said, "My God, these people are stronger than me, and they are forcing me to deny you and to remove you from the walls of this building that you have created." I felt so bad for God. And I say, how I wish God should just do a miracle, or just intervene and just defend himself. Then as I was thinking like that, I heard a voice in my heart that, "Hey, don't worry. Don't defend me. Don't defend me. Do what they tell you to do. But don't allow them to remove you from my heart. To remove me from your heart. Let them remove the picture from the walls, but don't allow them with their